The death of a black bear at the hands of environmental police this weekend has renewed a heated discussion over how the state handles so-called nuisance wildlife. We went by the scene of the shooting to talk to residents who saw it unfold. At the corner of Washington and Eddy, right across from where it all took place, residents in Newton have conflicting opinions on the fatal shooting of a young black bear.
I think they just should have waited until it came down from the tree, given it time to come down.
It was a scary situation, but I suppose they didn't have much of a choice other than to kill it.
There always are other options, and it wasn't posing any threat. It was on a tree. It probably would have stayed there for as long as you would want it to stay there.
How and why police decided to shoot and kill the bear are still emerging. Massachusetts environmental police say attempts to use a tranquilizer gun were unsuccessful, and they were worried about the threat posed if the bear landed on the Massachusetts Turnpike. But Newton resident Linda Tomzik says that worry was overblown.
It didn't really pose any kind of concern for the Mass Pike because the railroad tracks were there, and there's no trains running that early in the morning.
Yet resident Elaine Calabro says in such a dense area, letting the bear linger for too long would have been risky.
I felt as though they did the right thing. With all the children around here, I mean, I wouldn't want to take any chances.
Coincidentally, Calabro and her family were at their home in Mattapoisett last summer when another black bear roamed the Cape for 2 weeks. That bear was taken down with a tranquilizer. Meanwhile, resident Robert DeSantis says bear sightings are no different and no more dangerous than other animals that have been spotted around Newton.
You know, you'll see wild animals, you see deer in Newton. Are they posing a threat? I don't know. You see turkey. Are they posing a threat? I don't think so. I think a bear was on a tree. It would have stayed there as long as you needed it to be there.
All right, and joining me now is Tom O'Shea, an assistant director at the state's Division of Fisheries and Wildlife. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Well, Tom, I know you weren't there,
right,
and we invited the environmental police, but they're under a lot of heat and under fire. I think it's been a little uncomfortable for them. My question is there a protocol? All right, sighting of a bear up a tree or a bear wandering in somebody's backyard, what is the standard protocol?
Yeah, there is a protocol that's been in place since the early 90s. It involves how we respond as the Commonwealth between two agencies, the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife and the Environmental Police. And it lays out the situations when we need to respond and how we should respond. And it first starts at, is there a situation where the bear just needs to be monitored? Perhaps we need to, help keep people away from the bear, let the bear move away, flee into an area where it has more cover, more woods. That would be the first sort of, step. Is it daytime? The conditions such that there's no immediate public threat, no immediate threat to the bear. You go to the next level, which is hazing, or what we would say, sort of chasing the bear off to an area where it could flee to. That's sort of your second level. The third level is when really there isn't a very easy escape route for the animal. There's more public safety considerations. The bear can't easily move or get to another place, and that's when we try to often mobilize the animal. Tranquilize it.
Now, I must say, I want to make it clear you weren't there, but I did talk to an eyewitness who saw the whole thing. Said that they shot 2 tranquilizer darts into the animal quite quickly, rapidly. And he claims that within 30 seconds after they're shooting the second tranquilizer dart, they pulled out the rifle and killed it. Mm-hmm. So it seems like it wouldn't have even had time to tranquilize it. But then they said that there was a malfunction, so it's a little unclear exactly what happened.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't have the information from the environmental police or report that I could even speak to, let alone our staff and I were not there. So I won't really comment specifically what happened there. But oftentimes at any type of response, there's usually a backup of darts, other dart guns. So I can't say what happened in that particular situation.
Would there be a real discussion going on at the scene, like, all right, what are we going to do next? And would they take public concern into mind? I mean, people really,
right. Exactly.
The bite bears are cute. I know that they're not that friendly to be around, but people have an affinity for almost any kind of wildlife.
Absolutely.
And it seemed precipitous.
Right. There are 3 primary concerns in a response. Number 1 is public safety. Safety of the staff and personnel involved, and then the welfare of the animal. And all 3 of those are taken into consideration. And a mobilization is in those situations where you don't think there's an immediate public safety threat, where the bear is likely to, right now, move out onto a situation, a major highway like the Mass Pike, and cause vehicular accidents.
That didn't seem likely.
Yeah, and so the question is, did they, and in their opinion, they must have thought that that was the case. So we have to take a look at that situation, and everyone is different. Now, it's very rare that they even euthanize a bear. In fact, last year, looking through records, I don't think there was any situations where a bear was lethally euthanized in a public safety situation. So most of the cases where they do successfully mobilize and relocate
the one
a bear.
that they dropped out of the tree last year, it fell 80 feet, and it seems rather cruel, too, that there wasn't some kind of a trampoline there to catch it. But whatever happened to that one?
That bear, actually, we did relocate it to Western Massachusetts. We watched it, monitored it, made sure that it showed that it was healthy, didn't have any signs of internal injuries or problems. So our biologist stayed with that bear for most of the day, and then waited and let the bear, and the bear walked fine.
So are you surprised about the public outcry over this?
No, I think that it's understandable when people see that the unfortunate outcome is a bear that couldn't be relocated, and we need to take.
I think the public outcry is they think that it could have been.
Yeah, yeah, and we need to take a look at that and see what can and could things be done differently. But I think in most cases they are done successfully, and we hope that they can be.
No question we're going to have a lot more because we saw some last summer. This is just the beginning. All right, Tom O'Shea, thanks so much for coming.
You're welcome.